Creating a customer is the topic of this lecture. So please go to Sales and Customer. What you see is I already prepared some contacts in here. What you do to follow my instructions is that you first of all just listen, and then we will continue with a kind of do-it-yourself lecture so you can build your own customer. So we just open up World Computers. And what you see before we enter that contact is that you see different icons. This is a company, and this is a contact person within the company or a single person, so that you just have seen it. We enter the contact. Just watch, don't create yourself right now. We click Edit. The first thing you see on top of this is a checkbox. Is a company or is no company? Yeah, you can see that right here. If we go back, this is what makes the difference. If I click is a company, you get that logo. And if I uncheck it, you would see like the avatar, like you see down here. So the first thing what you see is the name. You could type in the company name. We're working with the company profile for right now, including what kind of company it is. So is it a limited or something like that? Just type it in, everything in just one field. Then of course you have an image you could edit. Same thing like you did it with users in Odoo. Just click on it, upload a photo, and you will see it up here. I'm pretty sure 90% of your customers won't have a picture because you never met them personally, I guess. Otherwise, for some sales on the phone or when you're on conventions, trade shows, it might make sense so you recognize people if you have an image in here, but that's up to you. So the next thing up here is you get some fancy buttons. These buttons depend on all the modules you installed. So if you go here, you can see opportunities, which links to the CRM module we installed. You can see right here. So if you would click on here, you would see all the opportunities filtered for this customer only. Same for meetings, same for calls you can schedule. The more modules you install, the more buttons you will have. You will have sales opportunities, which you have here, but you have sales and offers as well. So you can see the turnover per customer, right, directly in the contact form, right, or in the contact sheet we're building right now. Very helpful to have a fast overview when a customer calls, for example. You just type in the name, and what you get is the turnover and some other key figures that are very important. The buttons are actually a filter for all the modules you installed. This is the easiest way to explain. So if you jump to opportunities, to meetings, to calls, or whatever, you will have claims later on or projects. You click on that and you see everything customized on that customer or filtered by that customer. So it saves a lot of searching time if you would go to the modules themselves and look for that customer. So you could enter them through the customer contact sheet we see right here. The next thing you see is the tagline, right? We will be very brief on that topic right now because this is very advanced to use later on. What you could do with that is if you have different categories of customers, so let's say you've prioritized Prio A, yeah? Let's say like that. Very important. So if that call comes in, everybody knows, okay, you better be good. You just create them, save it, and you have that tag in here. Later on, for reporting and stuff, you can filter by tags. But this is a complete own lecture because you really need to make up your mind before you start using text. So which kind of categorization makes sense? I will do a complete lecture on that topic later on. The next thing is the website or the contact data basically. I guess I don't need to talk about that. The only thing is that you see the state and the city. The state, you have some default states in here, which are actually the states from the US. And of course you have all the countries in here. This is in there by default. About phone, mobile, fax, if somebody uses it still, I don't need to tell you anything. I guess you will know how to use it. This is the title of that person you have in the system. So what we're doing right now is all the buttons that you see with the drop down. I just show you really quick. If you need to edit something else, you can do it this way. Search for more, then you jump into that topic or create and edit. So if you need an additional thing, just click here. But to show you where to get it, we start with country right here. If you don't use the drop down, this is the second part of that sales navigation point. You go to configuration. In this case, you go to address book, right? And this is where you can see countries. We don't save that here. You have all of the countries in here. And if they forgot the country you are working with or where your customers are, just type it in here. Just have a look on that. You could build in a flag, a shortcode, address format, but I guess they did a quite good job on that. You have states, that was the other drop down. Here you have titles. And of course, this is where the text show up as well. This is where I typed in prior A or test customer category. Under configurations, you find a lot of stuff. So to customize the forms or the options that show up. So now you know where to get it. Last thing I'd like to talk about is, for this lecture, is the context you see down here. So just remember, we marked this button as checked. So it is a company. So what might happen is you're not talking to a company, you're talking to people within that company. What might happen is that you have 3 different salespersons, or you have one for sales, one for marketing, and one for customer support, for example. So would be wise to type them in. And again, I jump back. If you go to customers, what you see right here are this person, they belong to World Computers. So you see it right here and their name afterwards. If we go to edit, you can just have a closer look on that. Here you just type in the name. Again, the text comes from the mother company, so to say. And you could type in a specific email, phone, or mobile number. If he has another address, you just uncheck this and you could type it in here. Basically, this is the same functionality how you put in additional shipping addresses or invoice addresses for companies. You just go to the same button and you just say shipping. Uncheck this one and say another shipping address and type it in. Afterwards, when you build sales orders, you can always refer to that shipping address or additional invoicing address. you set that right here, right? But for now, this is just a brief tip on that, or an advice. Maybe I will do another lecture about that, because I think it's very essential, because most of the companies have their warehouses somewhere else, not within their headquarters. So this is how you edit an additional shipping address. I will show you later on how to choose that shipping address when you proceed a sales order. And again, I'd like to show you the difference between a company and a single person. So we were talking about that additional context down here. So by default, this is not checked. You will get that contacts if you check that button. Otherwise, it won't be there. So don't get confused. This is right.